my mood. It's raining a bit. I don't know. And for the, I don't know, the past maybe 6 days, I felt like this feeling, you know, like I just can't bring myself to do things that need to be done, like planning ahead regarding the Breezy thing, going to court to make the order permanent. I just felt this whole week that just this inexplicable feeling. What I identified yesterday as abandonment. And when I do look at pictures of my wife, I get this fleeting moment of excitement that I'll be able to see her later, but that only lasts a fraction of a second. That's happened quite a few times in the last few days. Just look at her picture and I get all elated, and just to realize it's not going to happen. But all in like a split second. I've been taking notes about what I would like to vent about, but I don't recall what those are right now. I'm just feeling very, you know, I promised to make a point that I would exercise every day. And I didn't get to doing it today until like 1 o'clock. And it's only a half hour of the day, you know, because all I'm doing is the elliptical. Because I start to feel like, I don't know, this anxiety, and I feel that like I'm on the verge of an anxiety attack or something. And if I don't do it, I'm just going to keep feeling it. But if I do it, at least that's an escape for a half an hour, you know? After my wife's passing, a couple weeks in, I weighed myself. And I had lost 13 pounds. Usually I hang around 200 pounds. I used to exercise, I used to lift. I work out 5 consecutive hours every day. Since moving in with Breezy and them, because there's so much stuff, I couldn't access my gym, my equipment at all. And repeatedly we had made a point to Breezy, I need to access this stuff, not only for PT at this time, but just in general. I was very centered as a person when I worked out, you know. And even like a few days before Heather had passed, she told Breezy, Jason needs to get to his workout equipment. He wants to exercise, you know. She said Jason can't get to his equipment. And there's always an excuse why she can't do anything, why she can't move this or that, and she's like waiting on me for some reason. Why? Just move your shit or get rid of it. You have way too much stuff. For somebody living in somebody else's house, you have way too much stuff. Way too much. There were like tubs of toys in the living room, and they're scattered everywhere all over the floor all the time. And you're waiting on me for what? Get rid of it. Something I was going to say, but I forgot. I think it had something to do with her clutter. But I can't be sure. Not now. I don't know. Thinking of going to a like a grief group, like AA or something. Not AA, but a group, a live group, to maybe help myself through some of this stuff, man. I want to know what it takes to be able to move my wife's shampoo bottles from the tub, for instance. I packed up some of her clothes. I packed up and put a little note. These are the last clothes that Heather had worn. Those are sealed shut, airtight. I airtight sealed the blanket that she passed away in. the sheet that she was laying on finally. I slept on that for a month afterward. I sleep on her pillow. I sleep in the spot where she passed. I just don't know what to do. So I've been struggling with this feeling that I need to spend money. Not on practical things, not the things I know. Yesterday, I walked into a gas station and, you know, frequently I buy like the main lottos, you know, just one, nothing special on them. And then for some reason, I just decided to get two $50 scratch tickets. Yeah, I used to, you know, buy those quite a bit. But I won nothing yesterday, and that doesn't make me feel good, spending that money, knowing that I need it, every penny. Back to Breezy, unfortunately. When I first moved in last year, I've never cut my cat's nails. I got crickets. And one night I was washing dishes, and Heather and Breezy were sitting on the couch in the living room, and we were talking. I get pretty nervous about the idea of cutting a cat's toenails because they'll struggle. It's just me. I don't want to like clench down on them to keep them from moving because I'm afraid I might hurt them or slip and, you know, cut too much off. So Breezy had offered that she would cut them, and, you know, maybe in trade for a little bit of money. I'm thinking, yeah, all right, you know, like, and we were just tossing around ideas. And I was thinking something like maybe $20 twice a month. But we didn't lock anything in. You know, I wanted to do some research and see how much like the pet stores, you know, charge, and then kind of go off of that, give her a little extra just because. And then the topic had come up, I guess, I don't know, I had mentioned something like maybe $50 a month or something, right? And I remember being in Walmart like a month or two later, and I get this text from Breezy asking, can I get that $50 from you? I'm like, $50? So yeah, I cut RK's toenails or claws, and I was like, I don't recall saying I would give you $50. I recall talking about throwing around ideas and whatnot, but she was like, no, you said $50 a pop. I'm like, no, that's $100 a month, and I'm not going to agree to pay. I don't pay anything $100 a month, you know. Like, I'm not just going to agree to just throw $100 out the door, you know. Even if you're doing a little bit of work, one cat, no, not $100 a month. No way. And then she convinced my wife that I had agreed to that. And so we had this back and forth thing. She said, I was right there. You did say that. And I never would have said that. I would never. $100 a month out the door is not something I would just agree to. That's just not going to happen. I don't have cable. I got rid of that. No satellite, none of that. $120 a month for what? They don't offer good packages. They ask, hey, tell us what you like and we'll put a package together for you. And you get the package and there's like nothing that you even would watch. I remember paying like $120 a month for all these channels. I don't even watch any of it. And I work nights. So when I'm awake on my days off, the only show I was able to watch was Magnum PI for $120 a month. I was like, cancel it. I had Netflix when it was like $8 a month. Then it went to 14, and then they wanted to change it to, you know, because my daughter was on it. And then they wanted to charge me for that later on. I'm like, $25 a month? No. So I got rid of that too. I don't subscribe to anything. And to agree to $50 a pop just to trim cats' nails, you're out of your mind. But that's when she started playing me and my wife against each other for like 4 or 5 months. And she would take like hot sauces out of my fridge and then accuse me of taking her sauces. I buy the big, like, what do you call it? The bulk size everything. And then she wants to claim that I have her sauces and stuff in the fridge. I'm like, no. So one night I just got pissed and grabbed all the sauces out of my deal and put them on the counter. I'm like, look, these are all mine. You know, none of these are yours. It's ridiculous, man. She just claims whatever. I want to get sushi now. Thinking of sauces made me think of soy sauce. And then rice, and I thought, what goes good with that? Well, some freaking sushi. I'm not going to make that at home. I'm not going to go to a Safeway for sushi. And why? If you look at the ingredients, they got aspartame in it. I'm thinking, why would you put aspartame in sushi? Anyway, I had moved in, and you know, Heather, you know, she'd watch her shows and stuff, and I'd try to get her to watch a couple shows, but she was like just not really interested in the things I liked. You know, the music. I like everything but gospel and rap. But I like heavy music. And she used to be in it, like when she was young. But, you know, she was more into country. And so we didn't click there, which is fine. I'm not like tripping on that at all. What was cool about our relationship is neither one of us tripped on the other. You know, we were able to do our own things without the other one getting all upset or, you're not spending enough time with me or something, you know. There was never any of that between us. And we would always hang out. But when we'd always hang out, she would like try to like find shows that we both would like. And that was like, I'm very particular. And I was just like, after a few times, I was like, babe, just watch whatever you want. And I'll just chill here, you know. And so that's when I started getting into, well, not getting into them. Like Yellowstone, she was watching at the time. But then, of course, you've got your Days of Our Lives. You've got The Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise and Honey Boo Boo this and Honey Boo Boo that and some like Mormon wives and sister wives. And you know, I would never watch those on my own, but hanging out with her, it was really cool to like just hang out in her space while she does her thing. It just became special to me. And just the little things, man. Like grocery shopping. I was always an in and out guy. Know what I want, get the hell out. But with her, I enjoyed. I would always drive her. She would sit here. And I enjoyed driving her around and going to the store and walking to and from the vehicle. This vehicle she named Hank. She paid for this vehicle. This is her vehicle. I drive it because it reminds me of driving her around. And I liked going into the store with her and pushing the cart, just wandering around wherever she decided she wanted to go look at clothes or anything. It didn't matter to me, man. I just went with it and enjoyed every moment of it. You know, if she needed something, I'd put it in the cart, or we'd come out and I'd always like pack the truck. You know, I'd push the cart back to its receptacle. When we get home, you know, initially she would be like helping me bring things in. After a few times, I was like, I got it, babe. You know, I'll do it. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, just go do your thing. And then I'd make several trips or whatever and put things away and just let her do her thing. I loved letting her be her. And she really appreciated that. She never like said explicitly, but you can tell. You can tell. And she had talked to other people. Oh, I think she was talking to Ellie one night about a boy that she had met online or something, and he was already like, how come you didn't text me back? How come you didn't call me? How come this? How come that? You know? And it's like, I can't be with a girl who just ignore, you know, like you're a baller. Fuck you. You ain't shit. Ellie's got a good head on her shoulders, man. She's not going to tolerate any of that. So, her mom, Heather, she just was like, yeah, you can't like be with a guy who does that, you know, to you and this and that and whatever. But she had said something along the lines of, Jason doesn't do any of that to me, you know. And I really appreciated the acknowledgement, because that chick I spent like so many years with, wasted years, I treat her the same way as I treated Heather, but there was never any acknowledgement. There was never any satisfaction or appreciation. And it was oh my God. I would wake up to like all these texts, and there was a point where I had 37 missed calls. It's like, you understand I'm sleeping, right? I work nights, I come home and sleep, and you're just this. And then like it got to the point where I was exhausted. Like I remember driving and my head was like this. Just the whole time I'm on the phone with her, I'm just like, ugh. Day in, day out. For a year and a half the first time and a year and a half the second time. I know I've spent like 5 years with her, or it feels like it. We must have spent at least 4 years together, to be honest. But it was madness. No appreciation. I would drive her everywhere, and then it was like, oh, you got to pay for gas for me to come up there. And then while I'm up here, I'm like, no, because after like several months, or at least like a year, I'm like, why am I going to pay for your gas to come up here? And then we're going to go do things like go to dinner and go shopping, which I also have to pay for. I'm like, no, you need to start like at least paying, you know, your own gas money coming up and going back. Why should I be responsible for that? You want to spend time together? Let's do that. You know, she didn't want to be at her house, so she would always want to come up. And then it was like every day, literally every day. I'm like, don't call me until like 5:30. I'm a senior operator in the oil field. I have 14 sites to manage and people to help out and train, and I got one other person helping me. And it's exhausting, it's overwhelming, but I love the responsibility. But it's like, dude, did you bring lunch today? Yeah, I work a 12-hour shift. Yes, I brought lunch. What'd you bring? Same thing I bring every day. Same thing I've told you every day. Chicken and rice. And then later, it's, I'll call you later, blah, blah, blah. She calls. Did you eat? I'm like, yes. What did you have? Chicken and rice. Literally every day. And then it would be like constant complaining about just everything that doesn't matter. I'm like, can you talk about something else? This is when I was like on my way out. Because if you can't talk about anything else, I'm going to hang up. And she's like, okay. And then she'd be like, I was just da-da-da-da-da. I'm all, something else, talk about something else. And then she would start to talk about something else and then bring it right back. I just click, I'm done. Like, I used to be like, I used to ease out of it. But now I'm just like, click. And then I just wouldn't answer the phone. The final year we were together, did not have sex. I just wasn't attracted to her. And I didn't cheat on her. I ain't that guy. But the energy, the attraction, gone. And for a year, I thought maybe it'll come back around, and But the first time I ever spoke with her on the phone, just met her online, and I hadn't had a girlfriend for quite a while, focusing on myself. And the first time we're talking on the phone, and for the next 4 days, it was like this argument that wasn't an argument, but it was stressful, and it was like going around, and then I would have to explain something, and then a topic, and then I would have to explain something, and it's just when you think you know the person has like some like understanding of what you're saying, going through all these points, you get back around to what you've already visited, and the same thing over, and literally for 4 hours the first time this happened, I was like, maybe it's just we're getting used to each other, we're having communication issues, it'll fall in place. But it was that relationship was literally like that the whole time, at least 3 years. And she I had a friend die. And I had found out that they had died a few years prior, but she was an ex-girlfriend. And so I still had to process it. And she's sitting right next to me, jealous of a dead girl. I'm right here. And it was just like, holy shit, are you fucking serious right now? I was like, just please give me some time. And then there would be other issues. I wanted to watch the latest Nightmare on Elm Street, and I played it, and that's a long movie. She stood in the doorway and just complained and bitched. I couldn't watch a single second of the fucking movie. So it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then so after she was done, after the movie ended, I just watched it again. I just had to watch it, but then I fell asleep because of course I'm exhausted. Or one time I was like, I just need some space. And so I'd get up from the living room and go into the bedroom, shut the door, and I'd lock it. And she would be like, okay. And I'd go into the room, lock it, and the second I lay on the bed, I hear knocking and the door trying to open and knocking, and don't lock me out. And then I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And I get up and I unlock the door and I open it. I'm like, what? And then she comes in and she's in my space, continuing the same shit. I just fucking asked her that I need to leave, and she said, okay, here she is. And I just walked out and I went into the laundry room area, just standing there, just my head wanted to explode. And I thought, I have no idea what I'm gonna do if she comes around the corner and is standing right there. Luckily she didn't, because I just have no freaking clue how I would have reacted. I wouldn't have hit her. I would probably just dude, I was just so I don't even know how to explain it. You just constantly have this voice in your head, her voice, constantly. I digress. It was a nightmare. But it was April 20th, 21, where I figured out that she had cheated on me with a very specific person. Because she was all of a sudden, don't you think I have Irish roots? I mean, can you tell? Do I look like I'm Irish? And I just thought that was odd. So I started looking through her Facebook friends and noticed somebody I had not noticed before who has red hair. So I'm thinking, I confronted her on it. She said it was her cousin. And then she said it was an old friend from school. So then I just had the idea. I'm like, okay, all right, I see. And then there was this point where it was just really questionable. So I started pushing her on it, and she wasn't coming up to the house. She wasn't I was just trying to catch her. And I was like, take a picture of the room you're in right now. And she fought tooth and nail. And then she took a picture of, I'm at my girlfriend's house. And she takes a picture of it, and I'm like, take a picture of the rest of the room. And she refused, flat out refused. I'm like, interesting. But in the picture, it shows like half a bed. And then like up on the wall, you could see like a portion of like a light fixture. And I thought, that looks an awful lot like a hotel room. I ended up uncovering it all, and I ended up confronting the dude online. He blocked me because he's a bitch. And I was like, all right. So I broke up with her. I'm thinking, I know a redhead, Heather. And so that's when we started dating. And then my other friend died, and then I had a tough time with that. Had to break up with her. We had to end it, put it on pause. Then I went with this chick for 5 months who was just a manipulator, and I don't know how I turned into this guy, but she lost her house, and she had her teenage daughter living there, and so now they're in a hotel room. So I paid for the hotel room, and then I had to move in. And so she had a ferret, she had 2 cats, she had 2 dogs, a teenager and her, myself, my 2 cats. It was insane. Those dogs would never shut up. And the cats, the females, they were constantly in heat. Like one would be like, oh my God, annoying as hell. And then once that one kind of got through that phase, the other one would start for like a week. And then that one ends, and then this one started for a week. And they'd piss on stuff, on my stuff. Or whatever the hell they have going on during their heating cycle, their heat cycle. I would just find for like months, I'm like, what the fuck is this? On my printer, under my printer, that type of stuff. Just a really sticky, like urine kind of thing. It was on my window. I was just like, what the, this is just nuts. But she was a nightmare too. She was not a very honest person. And so I ended up kicking her out on Christmas Eve because that's how bad it was. And then I spent 8 months feeling guilty and trying to get my head back because she was a gaslighter, manipulator. And then after that, Lori, you know, the one that I spent all that time with and wasted all that time with, she was trying to get me back for months. And I was like, we're never getting back together. And then, of course, well, we got back to fucking together. And then it was the same fucking thing. I changed. Like, you changed in like a month or two? No. I don't think so. Yeah, it's difficult to find somebody you can really mesh with. And so after I broke up with her again, done, for real, then I went on some dating sites and, you know, tried to meet somebody. It's so impossible. And so I think I dated 3 chicks. 2 chicks for sure. 1, maybe, kind of. But those didn't work out because there's something wrong with society. And then I broke up with the last chick around, I don't know, sometime July last year. And then that's when Heather was heading to Sturgis, and we had our text, and are you gonna look for somebody else? Because I'll be gone. I was like, no, let's figure this out. You and me, figure it out now. And I moved in last year, and then the whole Breezy thing, the toenails, and I had a really nice time with Heather. It was so chill. It was the most relaxing, honest, genuine relationship I had literally ever had. Same with her. It was the easiest relationship one could imagine. And it only lasted a year. That rips me apart. That rips me apart. And then, like, more of this Breezy stuff, right? Like, I remember, like, one of the first times I was like, what the fuck? Like I needed to do some laundry, and she used the washer as her personal hamper, and nobody could ever use it because her stuff was always in there, always. And then she would wash it, and then it had like this sensor issue, so it would just stay filled with water. She'd leave it for literally days, or she'll have like all this laundry in front of it. The washer will be full. In front of it, there's this giant pile of fucking clothes, literally there for 3 weeks, minimum 3 weeks. She would leave dishes rotting in the sink for 3 weeks because we were done doing her shit. We were done, but she still wouldn't do it. Heather was always like, October 19th, she was like yelling at Breezy, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen Heather like that before. And she was throwing stuff, and she was like, I'm sick of my house always looking like this. You've been here for 5 years and you've done nothing for yourself. I thought you'd go to school or something. And she was like, I'm embarrassed to have people come over. I want my friends to come over. I can't ever have them to come over. That type of stuff. So then we got this laundry issue. And so I remember one time her clothes were in the washer and needed to go into the dryer or something. Either the clothes were in the dryer or the clothes were in the washer. And I looked down the stairs, and then there's the chair, Breezy sitting in on her phone. I was like, I gotta do laundry. She's like, all right, I'll be up to take that out. So I wait a half an hour. And then I go to the top of the stairs and look down. She's still on her phone. And I just go. And then I walk up the stairs again. Another half hour passes by. I'm like, fuck this. So I just take her clothes out, and I put them in like a trash bag or something and just threw it to the side. But it was like always like that. Nobody could ever do laundry. Never. Because she was just that person, you know? And then there's these moments where she would come home from the store with that cute smile or whatever, and she took her kids there, and she'd be like, can you believe my kids stole this, just put it in the cart and I didn't even notice. You didn't notice, like, during checkout? You just somehow that escaped you. And that happened more than once. So no, she's getting her kids into stealing, thinking it's okay, or maybe telling them, we're gonna put this under here, and if anybody asks, you say, you did that. That's literally the type of, I'm not even exaggerating. This is literally, she would frame her own kids to get away, I don't know, man. Living with Breezy is a fucking nightmare, to put it nicely. I don't know, man. I know this channel is supposed to help me out with learning how to deal with loss. And it would be otherwise if I didn't have this Breezy situation to deal with. And it's just, shouldn't have to deal with it at all. And the law is so like weird about things that they will literally stick you with somebody, almost like they want to set up a situation where somebody commits a crime. I'm not saying I would ever harm her. I would never do that because I'm not an idiot. But there's a lot of risk there because she is a liar. Tried to frame Ellie's dad as a molester. And there was an investigation, and they uncovered the fact that she lied. And in one of the reports, they somebody had stated like she had lied. She'd been caught in 27 lies, just in that case alone. So, I don't know, if the judge allows her to come back, it's almost like, I mean, they're complicit in whatever happens after that, you know? Like, why should I be subject to, and myself and Ellie, why should we be subjected to, like, emotional abuse is really what it is. It's domestic abuse, at the very least. I need to get on it. I need to, like, start looking at my options for lawyers to cross-examine us during this this next hearing in like 6 days. I really dropped the ball. I'm just dealing with so much. Like, I deal with so much emotionally, and with the Breezy thing, and then with all these bills coming in that I can't access accounts to take care of, and then they hit my wife's, you know, I can't pay the mortgage because I can't let the mortgage company know until I have like representative status. I can't really contact these people, and my lawyer advised against it. Don't let the house go into foreclosure, but at the same time, I can't pay because I'm not supposed to tell them, or I don't have legal clearance to inform them, hey, or maybe I shouldn't even tell them that, hey, you know, this person's passed away. And then what? They quick sell the house or something? And I'm on work comp now, but I would go get a job to make sure that I have more than enough money to pay the mortgage, but not knowing if Breezy's coming back or not, because I can't leave her alone in that house. She will steal everything. She will literally steal anything. And so I'm like caught in this, between this rock and a hard place. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do.